What's the story, lads? This is the Naked and Famous podcast, episode 1. My name's Dano here from Dublin, working in hospitality 9 years in New York City.
My name's Anthony Garcia. Been working at the Blind Pig of Westchester for like 2 years now. Started as a barback. Now I'm bartending. And yeah.
What's up, guys? My name's Rob Vieira. I'm the chef here at the Blind Pig of Westchester. Born and raised in the Bronx. Been working here for a good 2 years. And, greatest team I've ever worked for in my life, so.
What's up, guys? My name's Justin Escobar. I've been working at the Blind Pig since day one, so I've definitely seen a lot of positive change, and I love the direction that we're heading in. And this is our story. Episode 1, right?
Episode 1, lads. So, to get going, Esco's been our day one. Actually, he came through the door before we even opened the door. He came through the door with me and James, my partner. He's not here right now, but you'll meet him soon if you don't already know him. We were in here waxing the floor. We were in here trying to turn this.
Serious?
Used to be Ty's Tavern. And Justin came in with his cocktail codex from Death & Co. And he didn't take no for an answer. He wanted a cocktail job. And, we were opening the first cocktail bar in White Plains. We couldn't get rid of him. He came in, he had a great attitude. And he showed us what he's made of. He's blood in, blood out from day one.
Yeah. I'm dead. You just
so
came in here with the codex. Like, hey, I've been
This
reading.
was on a complete whim as well. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is probably like my last attempt at the industry. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about going corporate and doing something else. I must have emailed James and Dano like 4 times. I drove by like twice. I was like, man, I need this. I also like left my previous job, so I was like, let me just check this spot out. They're laying down the floors, yada yada. I get the whole gist. I'm like, yeah, this is a direction. I was recently introduced about a year ago when. Little TBT, I met Tony 2016 at another job called The Birch. Same concept, cocktails. Didn't work out. Much love to them. But the pig wasn't going to open until December, so I had only until, I think from October until then, I had just enough funds, and I took a part-time job at night. And I was like, as long as I'm on board, you guys got me. That's it, so.
And we're lucky we got him, honestly. I remember one of my first memories working with Esco. Me and James, we put in these trays that we thought were a great idea, to catch, they were to catch any like excess spillage, anything when we're building cocktails. Us being so green and new, we didn't blunt the edge of them. We left them razor sharp. And I want to say Esco sliced his whole arm open on it, man. We were balls to the wall busy on a Saturday night. And I turned around, he had a gash. Literally, it must have been like 4 inches long and about 2 inches wide. Just blood pumping out everywhere. Man, it didn't stop him. He went in the back, he wrapped that shit up, even though it was our negligence. And he came back out here and he got back into battle. And we were 4 deep at the bar. And that's when I knew, I was like, this is blood in, blood out. He's with us from day one, and he's going to be with us going forward forever, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Until he makes it in his music career.
Side quest.
Until you get signed.
Here's a gash somewhere around there.
Battle scar.
Built different, something like that. Yeah, I remember I was building a drink at that time. I felt a warm sensation coming down my arm. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what it was. I take a look, I'm like, and then me just trying to be sly, I was like, all right, just gonna try and finish this off. And I was like, this isn't gonna stop anytime soon. So I literally just kind of like scooted over to the side. I'm like, yo, James, like, so then Dano comes to the back. I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to go home. It's not like terrible. It doesn't hurt to the point where I need to leave. I was like, might leave a mark, but this is cool. At the same time, I had him like, this will be a cool battle scar, memorable. And now every time I walk behind the bar, I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Now we got you sanded on the edges.
Yeah.
I met Tony over here. We call him Tony Legs, or sometimes we call him Big Brain. Met him through Justin, as he said, he was a barback previously. He worked from. Honestly, the only reason we hired him was he was so tall. All of our previous barbacks were really short, and we were like, right, maybe we need a tall guy to reach the stuff on the top shelf. And it's worked out. Like the top shelf's super clean now.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Rob, I met Rob working at my last job in Manhattan. I was working at the Junction, and Rob was a chef down the street. He was coming in on and off with a couple of other regulars that we had, who were all in the industry, and we hit it off pretty much straight away. But I knew what I was saying to him. I was like, "Yo, man, I need a chef. I need a guy." He brought me into his kitchen one day, and he talked about teamwork. He brought me around, spoke to everybody, and I knew what type of guy he was. At the same time, he did not believe me on where we were going and what we were going to try to do. We're trying to do the #1 hospitality group in the world. We're after taking our first step towards that, and now he's joined, which made me very, very happy because we were very, very green and naive, especially in the culinary side of things. We didn't understand food costs, we didn't have systems, and Rob came on board and he really helped us push that into the next level, and we're seeing it all shape out much more sophisticated and much more organized than I would have done it on our own. But initially, he didn't believe that we were going to be going out here. He didn't believe that we were going to be doing it. But I know he's a believer now, and I know going forward, you're going to see the stuff that he's going to bring.
If I say anything, man, it's if something comes out of this man's mouth, don't think it won't happen. Things really happen, and they happen fast. They happen really fast. So when we say #1 hospitality group, I can see it like it's tomorrow. So just be ready for that. But believe everything that comes out of this man's mouth. This team right here is really got a good dynamic going on, where everyone here has like a kaizen mindset, where we're all trying to just be better and trying to be #1 around a whole bunch of dudes that are definitely manly and masculine, but we work together so well where our minds just work and blend. Like our ideas take form so quickly because of our mindset and our doing of betterness that we just work. I don't know, it's like phenomenal. This guy here, we gym every day. It's been going. He's gonna be an Olympic volleyball player. We say it, you'll see it happen. This is day 1 of the podcast. You wait. This guy here, he does this, talented, does everything behind the bar, shakes like a pro, and the next thing you know, he's on the mic singing the girl's brains out. It happens. You know. This guy here, he's gonna be a champion one day. I'm telling you right now. I see it. I know it. It's gonna happen. But like I said, those are just a couple of things that will definitely happen. You guys will look back and be like, "Oh wow, these guys are crazy," but we aren't.
We're just putting it out there, bringing it out from the universe.
Casual.
Hell yeah.
Salt Bay.
But basically, what we want to do here is we want to let people know what it's like working inside the industry. We want to bring people on who are notable in the industry, and some people who've just had experience maybe coming into our industry, coming into restaurants and bars. Everybody has some stories, and between us, we've seen so much just working inside this industry. It's magic, and we see some of the funniest shit that you'll ever see in your life. Yeah. I'm talking about people don't understand human nature until you work in hospitality and you get to see the comical side of what we get to do. I can't tell you how many people, and we'll never name names, it's always going to remain a shadow, but I've scraped many people out of restaurants. I've seen many people passed out in the restaurants that I've worked in. Even some of them on these very couches that we sit in right here. And the reality is it's not going to ever stop. And it's amazing to be part of something like this, because right now in the world that we live in, people are losing so much human interaction. And we're not. Like, we're swimming in it. We're drowning in it. We're to the point where, like, we need our time to ourselves, that we can't on our days off go to restaurants, or we feel like, we need to relax our mind because we're absorbing so much of other people's, influence, so much of their outspoken words, everything that you never think you'll ever hear. I've heard things come from nurses' mouth, teachers' mouth, like principals, doctors, accountants, lawyers, things, and you just look at them and be like, yo, you're just people. None of this career stuff is real. And at the end of every day, you guys come to a bar or restaurant to blow off steam. And here we are, ready to serve, and we love it. But at the same time, we're acknowledging it. And it's going to lead to some funny stuff. On that note, it is actually Negroni week. And one thing that we want to do every week is we're going to have a cocktail. right? Because we're in a cocktail bar here. So for Negroni week, we do have a mezcal infused with cocoa nib and vanilla Negroni coming up, I believe. Esco, are you going to jump out and make it real quick?
Let me do this real quick.
This cocktail's always going to be available at the Blind Pig. Each cocktail we do every week's going to be available for a limited time, you know, until it runs out. If you guys come and check it out, we'll have it for you. If you leave it late, we won't have it for you, but we're going to talk you through the flavors, the profiles, and the components, how it's made, and what it is that we're doing. So, Jay Esco, jump out and grab it for the lads, and we'll talk it through this cocktail.
Alrighty, gents. Here's our cocktail of the week.
Once again, we have a cacao-infused mezcal with Campari and sweet vermouth, which has been steeped in a vanilla bean, just to get a more, I would say, a more easier to palate cocktail, as the Negronis are usually very bitter. This is going to give you like almost like reminiscent of a chocolate. Anybody who's not familiar with a Negroni, it's an equal parts cocktail. It's, you know, one of the classics, and it is Negroni week, so that's why we're doing it. Jay Esco, thank you very much. I'm going to take the first sip, and I'm going to tell you as well. I think it is, bad boy. Oh, so I'm not a Negroni guy, honestly. I'm not a boozer, but this, it's very chocolatey. The vanilla makes it, it carries the chocolate well with the vanilla. Going in for a nice sup. The orange, the orange in it almost gives it like that orangey, chocolatey kind of, you know. It's a little bit earthy. The mezcal definitely is masked by the cacao nib, but I will say that's, if you're not into Negronis, you know, because they're a little bit too bitter, this is a little bit, it's not sweeter, but it kind of plays on that sweet note, and it's really easy to palate.
Yeah, definitely a good play for the fall. More of a bitter chocolate, not too sweet.
It does end really bitter.
Good
though.
post dinner. Free, don't matter when you have it. Matter of fact, it's
really, really
tasty.
nice.
I'm a fan of mezcal. I love the smokiness of mezcal. This really, really masks it. Like, I get more of the cocoa right out.
And FYI, all infusions are done in-house. We do not outsource from anywhere.
You know how we do, lads. Come on.
To drop that on y'all
All
right there, right?
To the first episode, James.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
To many more.
Yes, sir.
Anyone who knows me, they know that I'm not a drinker. I don't drink a whole bunch. It's not because I don't enjoy it. It's not because I'm not fond of the feeling of alcohol. It's more to do with myself. I don't get enough done when I'm drinking. You know, I'm a different type of guy when I go in to drink, so I kind of stay away from it a little bit because I don't have a regulating system for it as well as other people do. But what I will say is, when I'm out and about and I'm, you know, talking to people, I'm in bars, I notice that if someone's not drinking, they don't know that they're being watched by people who are drinking. And the people who are drinking, they generally don't tend to realize that you're sober. They, you know, they almost put you in the same category as them. They're not very aware that you're the person who's, you know, sober and they're the person who's drunk. So it's like, you don't need to worry about being, you know, shy, or you can be playful, a little bit extra playful, a little bit looser with people. It just comes down to confidence, really. I think that the biggest problem people have when they come to a bar is they're using alcohol instead of an enhancer as like a confidence masquerade, or, you know, and I think that that's something Tony can play on, because he recently just stopped drinking. Even though we're all, you know, very fond of a nice cocktail, Tony stopped drinking recently, probably something to do with us scraping him off this couch.
Yeah, so
You know.
actually I had a little incident here, but we're not gonna talk about
A
that.
lot of us have Been on the couch at one point of our lives.
I mean, when I met Dano and when I used to go to Dano's bar, man, I mean, you could ask him. I used to buy him out of Jameson. Like, we used 86 Jameson at that bar. My team, not just me. But
The El Pastor crew.
yeah, there were nights after a hard night at work, man. I'd tell him to lay down 3 shots back to back, and he's like, all right, no questions asked. He'd do it. Those 3 would go down, and the night would start. And now I don't drink at all. Like, my tolerance, if I have 1 shot of Jameson, I'm actually drunk almost. So, times change, but I could definitely feel the vibe of, like, going from a drinker to a not drinker, and then playing on what he just said. Like, a lot of the time people are drunk, they're talking to you like if you're drunk as well. So you get to learn your sense of humor more, and you get to learn more of yourself when you're sober. Feel free to actually engage in those conversations with drunk people, because it becomes playful, it becomes fun.
I think to elaborate on the whole drinking, working behind the bar as well, it's one or the other. Either you enjoy or you love drinking, or over time what's happened to me is I just have 2 or 3 because we're so involved with it, at the point where it's, it yourself, it's very hard to be satisfied with a cocktail. There's a standard for it now.
Rule number 1. No drinking at work. No drinking behind the bar.
No.
Anyone who drinks behind the bar doesn't respect the profession. And, there might be a lot of people out there who disagree with that. And, I'm not into arguing with it, because realistically, each to their own. I'm not the be-all and end-all of anything. But I've worked in places with people when they're drinking, and it's like things get messed up. And not only do things get messed up, the service that we provide, it's not what it could be. Now, I understand, you might be a little bit more fun, or you might perceive yourself as a little bit more fun when you're having a few boozers, which is grand. It's not a bad thing. But you try counting money at the end after having a few stiff drinks. Rob has fucking, maybe 9 Jameson shots, and he's trying to count the till. The till's not going to be what you want it to be.
Nah,
and
tills will be off.
we've had people drinking behind the bar here and there, nothing crazy, and it's just something that we don't. Honestly, I don't find it to be fair with people who aren't drinking behind the bar, because you end up pulling more weight. And also, I've seen people get into argument with guests. It's really funny. It's like you watch like a drunk bartender arguing with a drunk guest, and like that's one of the funniest things you can see, because you're looking at it and you're like, it's nonsense. It's like when you watch two patrons in a bar just drinking, they get into an argument. It's like you're meant to be the guy to step in and kind of diffuse the situation. So, definitely no drinking while on the job. That's definitely a big no-no here at the Blind Pig of Westchester.
Yeah. Well, you also find yourself, you want to, as you elaborated and mentioned, you want to give the best customer service, and I can't do that with just even an ounce of alcohol, because I already know I'm going to feel off somewhat.
A little loose.
A little loose.
Yeah.
Man, if you seen me drunk, right, and few people have seen me drunk, right, if you see me drunk, there's absolutely no way that anyone's getting served anything. I would be stood behind that bar, butt naked, arguing with every single person who comes through the door. I will tell them it's the wrong time of day.
Every story I hear about you being drunk, it's you being butt naked.
Man, it's
Listen,
one of the things.
I saw him drunk one time. He came into, I was at his old job at the junction.
butt naked?
Came in. No, but he walked through that door like he was damn sure butt naked. He came in there like he was ready to fuck something right there and then. He just started wiggling his wrist. He said, "The king's here," and he was just ready to hit the bar and start rolling. I mean, it was an insane funny
That was
night,
actually
man.
a bunch of my friends who I hadn't seen in like 7 years came out from Ireland, and I actually haven't seen them since, but they were staying with me for a while, and that was the one day they convinced me to go on the booze, man. We went down to the Crooked Knife in Manhattan. Actually, Rob used to be very fond of the Crooked Knife. Shout out to Pat McKnight. Shout out to our boy Ross O'Brien. He works down at the Crooked Knife right now, and I believe they're actually trying to get another one going soon in Midtown. But I was drinking in the Crooked Knife for brunch, and I'm not sure if Rob had mentioned it to me at that point, but I went down there and I ended up back at the junction, man. I was hanging out at the traffic lights on 39th and Lex, and just acting the maggot. But really, I would love to be able to recap on all my stories, and I'm sure as we go through this for drinking we will. But some of them are just like they're too much and too far.
Explicit.
Yeah, they're explicit, and it's like maybe once every now and then we'll
Some
touch on
things
one.
are better Left
Yeah.
unsaid.
There's people who call me bare ass. There's a group of people out there and they call me bare ass, and it's for a good reason, honestly, you know, because I do tend to get bare ass when I'm drunk, and you know, now I have a nickname amongst the circle of people as bare ass, and I try to keep that locked away. I try to keep it locked away, but it's good crack. Like, you know, one day if you get out and you get it out with me, you know, if it's a special occasion, you'll see that it's like it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. But man, how I grew up in Ireland, honestly, lads, it's like in Ireland you grow up trying to one up each other, and it's like if you think you're gonna one up me, that was my gig. Was like, there's no way I'm getting one upped. I don't care if I have to climb on top of the bus, but as you get older, you know, you realize you're like, here, this is a bit fucking nuts. Nothing's gonna get done doing this, and only bad's gonna come of it. So it's like I'm not the type of guy who can have one or two, and I'm pretty much not that way with anything. You know, I stay away from most substances. I'm sober completely. You know, almost like 7 years now. Since I'm 23, I pretty much banged drinking on
That
the
is
head.
crazy.
But you know what? I don't look at people who do it as in any other way. I think that's not for everybody. For
Yeah.
me, I have a problem where it's like I'm not gonna stop. Right? If you're someone who can regulate it, have one or two, and you can have a good time, I don't see a problem with it. Like Jay Esco, I've seen this guy drinking 1,000,001 times, and he's sweet as pie. Like, man, he'll have a couple of drinks, 3 or 4 drinks, and like. He's able to do it in a nice, responsible way, and he's able to keep his demeanor. Now, yeah, like, you know, that's just how it is for some people. For other people, that's not how it works. And
Nah, yeah, I've seen kind of some crazy things when people are drinking. When I started here as a barback, I think the first,
We had
the-
no food as well.
yeah, we didn't have any food, so people would just come here and just drink. Yeah,
they were
so
bollocks.
like the first weekend I worked, I saw tits, and I was like,
Hey, listen,
amazing.
and that's not the. Honestly, I remember that. I was bartending right up. I'm bartending up there, and I'm like, there's 2 girls sitting in front of me. I'm like, Tony, check this out. Tony walks up. This girl just flashes tits right at his face. And honestly, like, that doesn't happen all the time in bars, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here, when it happens, it's like, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's the best thing you'll
take
ever
it in.
see. It's great. You know, it's like, there's nothing to it. But the reality is like, it's definitely not appropriate.
No.
And
Yeah.
Tony was like a young dude at the time.
nah, yeah, I was really young, and like, I would always see her come in, so I would be like, oh, you want a drink? you want some
Now
more
you
drink?
know the color of her nipples.
You know what that tip me? Just show me your titties.
It's tough, yeah. No, it
No,
is.
that-
But here,
It's
listen,
cute.
it's not just the ladies either. Like,
Yeah.
man, I've seen penises too.
Yeah.
I've seen penises. Like, you know, it's
I have
like
yet to see
you,
a penis.
You've yet to see. I've seen them, man. It's like this is what happens. People get a bit drunk and like, you know, they're willing to show off what they got.
They wanna
and like
shake it.
some of them are proud. You know,
Some
God
are
bless
proud,
them.
you know?
Like, yeah, it's good crack.
That's a level of confidence I haven't hit yet.
You haven't achieved.
Shaking my dick when I'm drunk. I need to do that.
The old dick twister. You twist that dick. Oh man.
Oh man.
The hospitality industry, it's like it's really it's the most spectacular industry that you could be in. I don't care what anyone says
Yeah.
to me. Like, my mother was a chef. Okay, I wanted to go to culinary school, and she told me, "Listen, bang culinary school in the head. You're not going to enjoy it. It's not going to be something you want to do with long run." And yet here we are now running restaurants, right? But she's not wrong. It's a hard life. Like, you work long hours. You know, you have to give a lot of yourself out to the people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, if I was in a hospital, I'd be coming to the bar after work. If I was in a school, I'd be coming to the bar after work. You know what I mean? So it's like, realistically, what is it? What does it come to? It's like, this is where people come to meet each other. This is where they conjugate. This is where, like, people have most of their experiences. Most of the experiences in life that people, you know, talk about, or not most, but a damn lot of them, they come from bars and restaurants. And we get to be part of it, regardless of if we're there, or we're watching, or we're serving, or we're cleaning. We get to be part of these, you know, some people's, like, how many weddings have you seen in here? You know, and
couple.
we're only a small cocktail bar.
Yeah.
No, we've definitely had, just from one wedding, when was it, like a month ago? At least 50 people pulled up.
Yeah, man, I've been to one wedding in my life.
That was at 2 a.m.
Right? Maybe
Yeah.
2 weddings in my whole life.
And we still
I've
had-
served 100 weddings.
Yeah.
I've witnessed what it is. I've watched the groom. I've watched the bride. You know, I've seen the bridesmaids. You know, it's like, God bless America. Here we are. It's great crack.
Yeah, at some point, you will hit the bar. It's just
You're coming to the bar.
you're going to the bar, you're going to the restaurant. That's
Coming
what
to
you
see
celebrate.
us.
Yeah.
Coming to
Yeah.
see us.
I
Blind
think like,
Pig.
especially like I think a lot of people go through when dealing with hospitality in the industry is making the decision: is this what I want to do, or is this just a job? There's nothing wrong with that, but once you decide that, and you're fully fledged, it becomes much more fun. You come into work thriving human interaction. I can't see myself doing any other job, to be honest. Like, and I think about it often. I'm like every other month, like I can't do anything desk related. I probably get bored, but there's a high you get off of human interaction. Love making people feel good, people pleaser, and then when you get that good review, customer service, you just like me.
When you see your name on a Yelp review,
Yeah,
Yo,
something
Tony.
stuff like that.
Right, this is directed at you, bro, right? I've been doing this so long that I forget what it's like to be nervous. When I first came to New York, I was working, one of my first jobs was Brazen Fox, right? Like, first job I worked in was in the Coachman's down in the Bronx. I was working in Woodlawn, just Irish people, so it's a different gig, different kettle of fish. Like, you're just doing beer, you're just getting people wrecked. They're coming in after work and they're leaving at 6 a.m. Right, when I first started working in American bars, I was working in the Brazen Fox in White Plains. Man, the first time someone complimented me, the first time someone was like, "Oh, you're really handsome," I was like, I turned red. I didn't know what to say back to them. I felt like so awkward, and I felt bad for them because I couldn't respond to them, and they thought maybe like I was being a dick and I'm literally like, yo, like in Ireland, that's not nature. People don't do that. People don't compliment each other in that way. So when someone was like upfront with me and said something like that to me, I hadn't heard it much. And I was like very taken back, very embarrassed about it. And at the time, I was still new to bartending, so I wasn't like the guy who could just sit here and talk to you about anything or say, hey, what's your name? Like, you know, I would never walk up to people I didn't know and start talking to them in that mannerism. And then after been doing it now for like, you know, the last 9 years, it's second nature. It's like, it's almost if I see someone just and they pique my interest slightly, I'll walk over and like, I'll cut a conversation with them, be like, yo, where you from? What's your name? Like, what's going on? And man, woman, child, I don't care. It's just, but I remember very, very slightly what it's like to be shy, to not be able to walk up and direct a conversation to someone, to think to yourself like, you're too self-conscious, too much of they're gonna think I'm a strange person, and then you have no choice in this industry.
Yeah.
You have no choice. Like, I remember when Tony first started serving in here, I used to like enjoy sending them up to big tables, especially if it was like a group of older ladies, because I'd be like, I'm feeding them to the dogs. I'd be like, I'm sending this young kid over here.
meat.
Exactly, fresh meat. But what was it like, Tony?
Yeah, so basically, I remember the lady that showed me her tits, like she asked about me to Jimmy B, and that really made me nervous. And even when I started bartending, I remember I'm not gonna you know her, Esco, but she came here with her lady friend, and I was shaking, and I felt my hands shaking, and they were right in front of me, and I just had to deal with it, right? But not too long ago, it was like really, really busy. I think it was on Labor Day weekend or like a Monday. And I started shaking again in front of these people, in front of a family. But this time I know how to cope with it. I just started dancing. So like I just started dancing, and I was just like singing and everything. And then obviously I'm still shaking, but it's kind of like, you know, I'm kind of playing it off because I'm moving. So yeah, it's you got to deal with it. And actually, Kenny is like one of the people that have the most potential here, but he's just so nervous. He's just so nervous.
Kenny, for reference, is a young kid from White Plains who started working with us. He had no hospitality experience. He's fresh meat, and you know, he's a very shy guy, very shy kid. He has a Dominican background. He's an absolute gentleman, but like, you know, one of the most nervous, shy kids that I met off the bat, I couldn't believe that this kid was so nervous because what I could see in him. Like, he's just like, man, what we call him Kenny Love. So I don't know what Kenny Love has, but he has it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
Tony,
yeah.
go on.
But yeah, it's like if he gets over that, he's gonna be a legend. Like he's
I will
already.
say
a legend.
he's already almost over.
think
He's
he's
cracking
not
out of
yet.
that shell,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Man, this industry will bring out your inner superstar.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Breakthrough arc.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I see it every day, man. I see it every day. He's coming out of there.
But I think like having the confidence, you need that because the second the guest sees you're nervous, it does affect their experience. So you just gotta fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fake
yeah,
it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. I would say that honestly, this industry, you know, this career choice, it's one of the ones that will 100% be generating a new you as you're going through the experience. Like, you have no choice but to become a more outgoing, more comfortable, more confident, more eloquent, more just a more open person, more open to talking to people about things, you know?
I think that's the beautiful thing about this industry. It's not like, for me, it's not just cooking. It's you get to express yourself in so many different forms that you get to know different parts of you. Like, it's not just a chef, it's also business, it's also numbers, it's also art on the plate. You know, it's the same thing for cocktails. It's also flavors, it's also movement, it's also how smooth you make a cocktail, you know. You get to express yourself. You're not just locked down like if you're working as like doing numbers and tax accounting. It's just numbers. That's all you have. Here, if you can start off as a bartender and then you can be like, hey, I just want to manage, and the next thing you know, you're like, I'm a business person. I want to open up my own place because I love it so much. It doesn't just stop at one career or one field. You can open the door to everything.
Man, 100% right. Like, for instance, like, I'm not a music guy. Not a music guy. I was never into music. It was never my thing. And, like, we play music every day. What am I going to do? Not bang together a playlist. And I'm still not the main guy for it, trust me. But it's like, at a certain point, I had to at least know a few tunes to turn some stuff on when you're trying to get the mood going. Or when you see that, like, okay, the ambiance is not matching what we're playing, you know, or vice versa. The nightlife is right now, it's not the time for some jazz music. Like, we're talking, you know, it's 2 a.m. And people are trying to have a good time here. It's like, we've passed the dinner crowd.
Yeah, even I want to say the people you meet. The people you meet are like some of the best people you're gonna ever meet in your life. Maybe like, you know, your best friend or your best man. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I actually felt okay, like I can stay here and I feel safe with the people that I'm working with. Is when this guy called me a homophobic slur. I can say it, right? So, right, this guy called me a faggot, right? Because I would wear my hair up, like, when I first started here, because I had really long hair.
Yeah.
And Jimmy B, this guy was in front of me. Jimmy B was right behind this guy, and boom, he calls me that word. Oh, my goodness. I thought Jimmy B was just going to rip his head off, man.
Yeah.
And then he was like, would you call him? Apologize right now. Apologize. And this place has taught me to set boundaries with people, something that I really didn't know. And no one has taught me that.
Man,
except
all
you
the
guys.
best people I've met in my life, and that, like, no disrespect to people I've met outside this industry who I love, because there's a lot. But honestly, like, man, James, for instance, he's not here right now, but he's my best friend. I met that guy. He's like a brother. I met that guy working in a bar, right? Like, Esco, I live with this guy. I met him.
Roomies.
We're roomies, bro. I met him working in a bar. Rob, man, he's one person who I've met who I know I can rely on through thick and thin. I know is going to be there in the future. Man, I met him through this industry. Anthony, man, I look at this kid like my little cousin. Like, you know, I've been watching him grow now for so long, and I've watched, man, he makes me laugh. He makes me laugh. Well, I hope you don't grow any taller, because honestly, it won't fit you in the bar. But, you know, he makes me laugh so much that, a backstory to Anthony. I'm working with Anthony. He's a barback. You know, he loves volleyball. He's a beast. I watched him spike the shit out of a ball the other day. He hurts his leg, right? More specifically, he hurts his Achilles. It detached. He had to have a surgery, and, you know, he was off it for like 9 months. And because he's so tall, I think it took even longer for him to heal. During that time, I watched him go through a period where he was like, you know, a little bit down, and like, he's not around us, and we're all having the crack. And I missed. I'm like, yo, I miss Tony Legs being here. I miss the big brain. I miss, like, the laugh that we have. I pulled them aside and I told them, I'm like, listen, you're gonna bartend because you're not gonna have to run on the floor. You're gonna do half shifts behind the bar during the day. And he says to me, he's like, nah, I can't do it, my leg. And I'm like, look, man, you know I wouldn't put you in harm's way. You're gonna do it. This is not an option. Like, you're gonna do this because I know in 3 or 4 months when you're back to being your normal self that you're gonna have a new skill, you're gonna be in a new position, and you won't be stagnant. You won't be stuck in one spot. You'll have now grown during your injury. And he was very against it. He didn't want to do it. He thought I was being hard on him. But the reality was, like, look, I knew, right?
Yeah.
I knew that would be what's best for you. I knew that. And listen, had he said to me, like, after a day or two, I can't do it with my legs, so I'd be like, no problem. But at the same time, I just didn't want them to waste that time and not grow a new skill because, like I said, man, these guys that we meet in this industry, like, we get a bond that people don't, that you don't see in many other industries, in my opinion. And it's like, we're a team. We're working against the guests. Now, the guest is always right. Unfortunately, the guest's always right. But we look at it like we're trying to go out to war. We're trying to make sure that everything gets done. And it's like any place the ball's dropped, it doesn't matter if it's your job or not. Like, you pick that ball right back up. And, you know, like, I wouldn't have met these people outside of this industry. And I wouldn't have had so much laughs outside this industry. And I wouldn't change my career path for anything. I was a hairdresser starting off, lads. Like, you know, I was a ladies' hairdresser. I did the L'Oreal Awards. You know, I was doing highlights, balayage. That was my gig. You know, I was doing it since I'm 13. I started off doing perms and blue rinses.
Working at Timberland.
But the reality is like, it didn't give me the enjoyment that I get out of working with a crew in a restaurant or in a cocktail bar or in a high-paced environment where it's like there's 50 people waving money at me and screaming, saying, "Oh, get me this, get me that." It's like, it wouldn't have been the same thing. It wouldn't have been the same thing, and I wouldn't have met the crew that I met. And, you know, by the way, we're expanding, you know.
Oh, yes, across the street.
You just give us a few more weeks and see what we're going to do. But anyone who's super interested in the industry and wants to grow, wants a career in hospitality to stay in it long term, you know, shout out to Blind Pig. You come over here and, you know, give us your resume. Maybe send it to us an email. Our email's on our Instagram. But we're looking for people who are going to try stay in this and grow together as a family, as a team. And most of all, work hard and make some cash, like, obviously, you know. But we're going to have a great time along the way. You know, we've already been having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for chefs. I'm looking to acquire the best chefs in all of New York City. So if you guys are there, come in. We'll build a team. I guarantee you guys will end up being chef of your own kitchen because that's how fast we're expanding. But, yeah, come join this team. I mean, I just want to point out, like, usually in hospitality industries, especially in the places that I've worked in, like, Catch, Budokan, very fast-paced places where you're doing 1,200 covers a night. You hit, like, a fight-or-flight mode, and you forget to, like, take care of yourself. And I want to say, like, we hit fight-or-flight mode here, but we push each other to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies, of our mind, and everything. So I think that's what makes us a little bit more elite than other places, is we literally go the extra yard to, we close at 4 a.m. and then there's 3 of us at the gym at 10 a.m. You know, like we really push to push harder and push further. So I think that's what makes us stand out. Like,
Healthy body, healthy mind.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
we have, like, amongst our team, almost all of us training at the gym. You know, almost all of us lifting weights, which I've been doing for a long time. I love it. Justin's a power lifter. You know, Tony's been playing volleyball, but him and Rob are now gym buddies, and they've been killing it. But I think that especially in this industry where you're giving so much of yourself away, like, you need that serotonin boost. You need that release. And, like, I train martial arts. James trains martial arts. A lot of the guys who work here, we train martial arts, whether it be jiu-jitsu, Thai boxing, whatever it is. But we're all very big into our health, and we think that, you know, man, I wouldn't be the guy I am in here each day if I wasn't doing that. When I'm not looking after myself in that way, I can't give the same energy. You know, I was only saying to Rob, we trained last night. We would go over to New York Sports Club directly across the street. We come back here. We do a few more bits. We're finished work, but work's never finished. And the reality is like I have more energy after a full day. I have more energy after I just did that, and I'm now able to speak to people. You know, I'm happy again where I was kind of drained, and I think you know, having a crew of us all on the same mindset, all with the same visions. You know, it's big, especially when it comes to building our menus. Like right now, we're working on our newest menu. It's going to be a fall-winter menu. We've got some really good stuff coming out. You know, we're working hard on it. Shout out to Julio, our bartender. Obviously, you guys will know him or you'll see him on this very soon. Marlon, you know.
Benny Blanco.
Benny
I mean,
Blanco,
but even
Eric, our whole crew.
Eric
But
Pequeño.
we come in together and we sit down and we work on cocktails in our spare time together. You know, we go foraging together. Joey, yeah, man.
Joey.
Shout out to Joey.
He's gonna be here, bro. Joey's gonna be here.
And the reality is like, if we want to be the best, the only way to do it is to make sure that our team is excelling to be the best, and that we're envisioning being the best, and that we're working hard when we're off. You know, because we don't do this for work. We do this for fun. This is what we do. You know, and man, I don't have any more fun doing anything. You know, it's like sometimes I go out to a restaurant, lads, and I'm like, let's go out and hang out. And then I go out and I'm like, man, you want to go back to the Blind Pig? You want to go back to the Pig? Like, you know, yeah, I'm in Manhattan. I'm down in employees only. Great spot. I love it. Like, you know, I love checking out everything that's going on in the city. But I'm like, yo, it's 12 o'clock. You know, the Pig's going to be having a good time right now. Let's get back up there. You know, and man, White Plains is so underrated.
Yeah.
Man, people don't know it. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, it's popping in White
I
Plains.
am trying to move here right now at this moment. You know?
It's the city without the hassle. You know what I mean? The city without, like, you know, the expensive shit.
For now, because there's a lot of.
For now,
Except
I think it's still rather
Yeah.
expensive.
Rent's
but-
expensive at White Plains.
yes.
But here, you know what it is? Like, you come
Worth
up to White Plains on a Saturday night, there's queues outside everywhere.
Yeah.
You go out in White Plains on a Thursday, everywhere is full. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like, I used to go down, my first restaurant I worked in the city after Brazen Fox was the Penrose, Upper East Side. I was in there a very short period of time, and I looked around and I was saying to people, I was like, yo, you ever been to White Plains? And they were like, oh, upstate. I was like, it's not upstate. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, it's like, it's right
like
there.
30
You
minutes
tell
away.
someone that's from the city in the Bronx like me, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's kind of upstate. That we just don't even think about it.
Man,
Just
and-
naturally.
Upstate.
I hear you, because after working in the city for a while, you know, I bounced around to a few bars. I worked in a lot of great places, but I started to realize, I was like, yo, there's so much going on up here. Like, you know, there's so much potential for growth up here. And we seen the pocket in the market, myself and James, when we started hanging out in cocktail bars. I started working in Manhattan in cocktail bars. You know, shout out to the Dead Rabbit, who gave us some nice training as well. It was a
Hell
great
yeah.
time.
Great establishment.
Hopefully get some of them people on from there, get on the podcast and talk about their experience in the hospitality industry soon. But I'll just, you know, I couldn't believe the pocket in the market that's up here, and there's still a pocket in the market that's up here, and we're about
Yeah.
to take that pocket and turn it into
Over.
something great for, you know, we love White Plains, so you're going to see. But, we all live here, you know, bar Rob, who's trying to get up here, and it's like, every day that I'm off and I walk around White Plains, I think to myself, I'm like, man, this is a great place to live,
Yeah.
regardless of where you're at. Like, it's a nice place to live. Like, you know, you're 25 minutes from the city, you get in there nice and quick, you get out even quicker, you know, but everything's accessible. The only thing is, the only thing I'll say about White Plains that's slightly, you know, negative is that they don't have everything yet up here from the city. But
Oh,
we're working on it. We're working on that.
We're
All
gonna
that
bring
is
a really nice coffee place, yo.
we need a really nice coffee place. We need a
Hell
nice
yeah.
coffee place
Yeah.
up here.
I wonder
We
who's
do
gonna
need
do
one.
that.
I don't know
We
who's
need
gonna
it.
do it, but
One more coffee, one more cocktail. Operation Midnight Climax coming soon. Check it out. It's gonna be Martin Avenue this fall. Just come and see. We're gonna have a great time. But
More work. That's our motto here. More work.
our work, mándame más trabajo.
sleep when I'm dead. And there's no sleep.
There's no sleep. Well, listen, lads. I think we'll wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It was great as our first podcast. You know, Naked and Famous.
Naked and
It
Famous.
speaks about ourselves or our future selves, and we're only going to keep getting better, like we do in hospitality and like we plan on doing in the podcast
Hell
world.
yeah.
So come back and check out our cocktail of the week next week, and let's talk about some more interesting stories in hospitality, and you know, we'll get on some more guests, and we'll have a bit of a laugh. Right, lads?
yeah.
Thank you
Sláinte.
guys. Hell
Thank
yeah.
you very much.
Thank you for
You
watching,
know the
guys.
vibes.
You know the
You
vibes.
know the vibes.
Hit the day rolling on positive
When's the next
vibes.
staff party? Cheers.